Thank you. Friends, residents, thank you for being here. I know you have a very wet pitch here today. Sorry for the uncomfortable environment that you had today, but really appreciate all of you being here. Tonight is the final rally, and I want to take this opportunity to share with you what I will do for you at the national level as well as at the local level if elected as your MP on 11th of September. Let me start at the local level, which is what we do to improve our estate, our town, our neighborhood. Our vision for Bukit Panjang town here is to build an even more livable estates and endearing home for everyone, focusing on 5 areas. Firstly, of course, transport. We need to do a lot more on transport, and there are many more exciting things coming out from transport. We will have, come December 27, 3 modes of public transport, the enhanced bus services, the upgraded LRT, and the game-changing downtown line, which have 9 stations that serve our GRC. So this is going to change our town significantly. It will make traveling, commuting around, in and out, a lot more convenient, a lot more comfortable, and make us a lot better connected to the rest of Singapore. We will also have a very well-designed integrated transport hub coming up. That will be also the aircon interchange that we know in some towns. So what you mean is that when you do transfer, whether it's from bus to train to LRT, it's going to be a lot more comfortable within a complex that's air-conditioned. We are going to build more roads. We're going to have more road links going out so that traffic can be better managed. We can have smoother traffic flows. And we have already built a flyover. There'll be a second one coming, and plus other measures. We will improve the traffic condition in Bukit Panjang town, and that's something that we will do in the next 5 years. This is our plan that we have, and we want to, make driving around our estates smoother, especially during the morning peak. Secondly, we want to support our families here in our town. We want to do more to help our young parents, to help them in their parenthood journeys. So there'll be more childcare centers coming. We already built quite a number, but there are more in store. And there will be a big one, 200 places childcare center at Helian. There'll be also more after-school care, and also more thoughtful design facilities for our children, for our seniors, more playgrounds for our kids, so that our children, when they grow up, they will have fond memories of our estates, of our neighborhood. This is their home as well. This is where they grow up. Thirdly, we want to improve livability here. So we'll be spending more on coupling ways, drop-off points. In any case, we spend a lot every year, millions of dollars just to build coupling way and drop-off points, and we plan to do even more to better connect the town, to make it more accessible, to make it more convenient for our residents, whether it's rain or shine. We will be adding more lifts to the multi-story car parks in our estates. So some of the older car parks, soon you will see lifts that will bring you up the 3-4 levels up, and you can carry your things in a more convenient way. We intend to also better connect different precincts within the town, so there'll be a footbridge that we're going to build. We're going to start one at Sega Meadow to Segaville. There'll be a nice footbridge that's going to be built over there. Thanks to our resident suggestions, we are going to see that also in the next 6 months to a year. Dr. Teo mentioned about hawker centers. We have 2, one at Bangkit, one at Senja. We have a polyclinic coming up as well. And other facilities, amenities like supermarkets, coffee shops, there are more to come as well. We also want to continue to enhance the safety and security of our town. So our neighborhood police center, which is at Zhenhua CC, is now a much beef-up force. They now have their own, what they call community policing system, as well as a community strike force for them to have a rapid response to crime situations. So safety and security is foremost on our mind. We want to make sure that it continues to stay that way for Bukit Panjang town. Fourthly, to harness the green around us. Bukit Panjang town and the GRC, we are fortunate to have the nature reserve around us. There are plenty of green, and we want to really harness that. So we have built the Dairy Farm Nature Park, and we are now building the Chestnut Nature Park. And there are many other parks around within town, all to give more green space to our residents, for families to enjoy, for recreational activities, as well as to exercise. Some areas will allow you to cycle. So we want to harness the green space here so that we have a very good environment for us to appreciate nature and for us to enjoy. The Pang Sua Pond will be developed. You will be able to see nice water scenes. There will be boardwalks constructed so that you can get nearer to the water, but you also serve as a shortcut for residents from Jalapan to Bukit Panjang Plaza. So that's something to look out for. And the most exciting one is the rail corridor that's now, we are doing the consultation and to get ideas. Once it's developed, you will have a very nice rail corridor. It will cut through the whole GRC, and it belongs to all our residents for us to enjoy the green over there and to bring our family there to have a good time. Fifth, we want to continue to strengthen our communities. We want to bring more activities, we have more activities so that neighbors and friends can come together, build relationship. Dr. Teo mentioned about brisk walking. We want to have more brisk walking so that residents will come together to exercise, to get to know one another, build that special bond, so that we are a cohesive community. We want to have more engagement with our residents. We already have many town halls, dialogues. We want to continue to do that. And we also want to leverage on the social media to be able to better reach out to our residents here. So these are the plans that we have. They are all detailed out in our town books for the respective divisions. Take a look at that. Keep the book for the next 5 years. Take and check whether have we done all this come in the next 5 years. We have delivered our promises, what we have promised last 5 years ago, and I'm very confident that we can again deliver our promises to our residents, to our voters in the next 5 years. Let me talk a little bit about, at the national level, what I would want to do for you. As backbenchers, myself, Mr. Christopher D'Souza, we are very active in our parliaments to debate on major issues in parliaments, to push for certain issues, to raise concerns. We debate a lot during the budget to make sure that every ministry spend their money wisely, spend at the right place, to make sure that to give support to different programs so that families, seniors, the young, the vulnerable, the needy are all taken care of. Let me highlight a few things that I have pushed for in the last few years of Parliament, just to share with you some of these things that we do. Of course, one of the major things that I talk a lot about in Parliament is on transport. Not just at local level and at national level, I speak a lot about transport. During a debate in 2013, I think there was the budget statement debate. I called on the government to allow the entry of more bus operators, rather than just to depend on the two public transport operators, the SMRT as well as the SBST. Because we know that the two operators were not able to cope. So I spoke in the Parliament to say that if the two operators are incapable of increasing the bus capacity fast enough, then we should not waste time on them and quickly look at other private operators to do the job. I also call on the government on stronger interventions to increase the bus capacities. So thereafter, the government announced the new government contracting model, where new operators are tendered into the bus system on selected routes. So now we have more than two operators now, and there's competition there, and our public transport operator now have to be up to speed and make sure that they continue to service us well. The government also stepped up on the Bus Services Enhancement Program, the BSEP, where more than 660 buses were added on to our system. costing more than $1.1 billion, in which Holland Bukit Timah itself, our GRC itself, and the SMC, Bukit Panjang SMC, just our GRC and Bukit Panjang SMC, we are the major beneficiaries of these 660 buses. In fact, out of the 660, 130 buses came to our GRC, came to our town. So we account for about 1/5 of the buses allocations. I mean, there are more than five GRC in Singapore, but for us as a group, we have accounted for 1/5. So I'm very pleased that that has translated into better, but more bus services for our residents, more convenient rides, shorter waiting time. Of course, there are more to do, and we will continue to press on. In the same budget debate, in 2013, I also called on the government to ensure that Singaporeans have a fair chance of available opportunities, and to call on government to implement the labour testing process to ensure that our local PMEs are given a fair chance. The government did implement the job bank and the fair consideration framework, as well as most recently, the MOM will scrutinize very carefully companies, whether on their manpower practices, whether they fall under the category of what we call the double weakness, meaning those that do not have a strong core of Singaporeans employees, or those that do not do enough to nurture the Singaporeans PME. So these are the double weakness. And I think it's good that we have measures in place to make sure that Singaporeans, the PMEs, are given the fair opportunities. So this has been shown in the results. Since 2010, the employment pass and the S-pass holders has fallen by 70%, in the last few years because of the various measures put in place. In the area of cost of living, I was also one of those persistent MP who pushed for the building of hawker centres. I think Minister Vivian knows about this, and the polyclinics. I mean, I keep pushing polyclinics every year in Parliament together with Dr. Teo. So we're very glad that Bukit Panjang Town is also a beneficiary of this increased numbers of the polyclinics as well as the hawker centres. Thank you. I want to share one more other example. There's a few, but in the interest of time, let me just share one more. What I have done in Parliament that's related to the population white paper. In 2013, the Parliament debated this population white paper. There was quite intense debate, but I think that we need to make some changes with the motion. So I move an amendment to the motion to clearly state that the 6.9 million that was always mentioned about is not the population target. Okay, I want to make it very clear that this debate is not about setting a target for population. So I move a motion to say 6.9 million is not the target. And there was a debate, and the motion was carried. And so now, on the records, in the Parliament's records, 6.9 million is not a population target. It's clearly stated there. In that motion, I also added that we should place priority to step up on our infrastructure, particularly on transport, and to ensure that the benefits of our population policy, such as better job opportunities and salary, must flow to Singaporeans. I think that's important because we do all this, at the end of the day, is to make sure we take care of Singaporeans. So I'm very pleased then that the motion was carried with all this recorded in the motion. And so, in the subsequent years, we have seen the government carrying out many of these measures to step up on the infrastructure, as well as to protect Singaporeans, to give Singaporeans a fair chance in terms of job opportunities. So these are things that we do, and Mr. Christopher D'Souza also mentioned some of the things that he spoke up for, some of the issues that he pressed on as well. In the last the last 9 days of campaign, and as well as months of our regular engagements, I have heard your concerns, and you have raised various issues to me about what are your worries and what you hope that the government can look into. So I want to tell you that I will take up these issues up in Parliament, and I'll be filing questions. I'll be pushing this in some of our speeches during the budget in particular to raise these concerns that you have to the government. For example, I hear that some of you have told me you feel that the CHAS card benefits, especially the orange card, can be further improved, especially for the common illness category. So I want to tell you that upon the new Parliament, if I'm elected, I will file my first questions on the CHAS card and to seek the government to seek MOH to review this and see how, if we could improve the benefits of the CHAS card, especially the orange card. We need to support our families, as I said, especially the young parents in their parenthood journey. So I will also push for the MSF to review the childcare subsidies for families, in particular the stay-at-home mothers. We should help them out because for some reasons, they have to stay at home to look after the kids. And we should also make sure that the childcare subsidies, they have the fair share of the childcare subsidies as well. I will also push for the infant care in our childcare centers to have increased capacity for that so that, especially the young mothers, many of them will want to have the option to join back the workforce as soon as they can. Many may not have the parental support there to take care of the young babies. So we need more infant care places. I will also continue to champion on the growing economy, to grow our economy in a quality and an inclusive way so that Singaporeans can have better job opportunities and to earn higher wages. So these are the things that I will push for. I cannot promise you that I will get everything all done or succeed, but you can rest assured I will be persistent and I will continue to build a strong case to ask for government to look at all these changes or improvements to the policies. I have done that before, and I think I can still make an impact there, and I want to assure you that I will do that. You can be rest assured that from our GRC, Holland Bukit Timah GRC, there will be 2 backbench MP, myself and Christopher D'Souza. They will be there to reflect your concerns, ask the necessary and relevant questions in Parliament, and to help build a secure and vibrant future for Singapore. We will do that for you. You watch us in Parliament. 各位，谢谢。Let me just say a few words in Mandarin. 各位居民朋友们，很感谢大家过去的9天给予我的支持和我鼓励。很荣幸呢，过去的9年能为您做事，为您服务，改善您的生活。我们也从中呢建立了更深的认识，以及更深的了解。我们的市政其实今时已不同往日了，是不是？我们的5G8认证已经不像是以前的5G8认证了。过去的5年呢的建设已大大的改善我们生活的便利。未来的5年计划呢，将会把我们的市政推向全面的层面，多方面都更加的方便，设施更加的齐全，可以媲美甚至超越新加坡的许多大市政，所以这里已经有大大的改善。5G8认证，我讲过，这是我的家，我的生活也在这里，跟你们都一样。我们将会全力以赴，继续为您谋求更好的生活，以及更好的家园。希望你们支持我们人民行动党，支持我们的议员，谢谢。Finally, let me just say last few words. This is the final day of the 9 days campaign. It has been most intense and grueling for us as candidates, but as well as for our volunteers who have worked very hard. We don't mind the hard work, whether it's the punishing schedule, the waking up early, the walking ups and down the blocks, the sleeping late to discuss what to do next day and so on. I mean, these are fine with us. Though it has been physically exhausting, I must say it has also been very fulfilling to meet our residents, to have a chance to interact further during the visits, during the walkabouts, and during the rallies. Elections are a necessary process for a country's democracy. The rigorous contests are also necessary to allow voters to make informed decisions. Singaporeans are all very well absorbed in these elections, including residents at our neighborhoods and our estates. Inevitably, there will be differing viewpoints, opinions, some very strongly held, some can be emotional, some very strongly expressed, and then all the counter-arguments to and fro, whether it's in the social media or in our dinner table or in a gathering with your friends. But I hope that these differences that arises during the last 9 days of campaign will not affect the relationships and friendships of our neighbors and friends. We have built a strong community here. We should not let the last 9 days divide us or, weaken our cohesiveness. Our neighborhoods, whether it's Sega, whether it's Jalapan, whether it's Senja, are friendly neighborhoods where residents generally are good-natured and are tolerant and considerate of one another. There are many heartwarming stories that we have, instances where residents show that they care for one another. So it will be said after the 9 days campaign, the relationship is no longer the same, and we become less cohesive as a community. Lives continue after the 11 September elections. When the dust settles, we are all still neighbors and friends, and we will still continue with our life pursuit and continue to take care of our families as well. So I hope that we can, after the election, put the differences aside and continue to look out for one another, and hopefully neighbors continue to be good neighbors and good friends. Finally, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to our hardworking volunteers and supporters for the hard work and the unwavering support. You have all been my source of strength, and I thank you for working so hard for fighting this cause. Thank you very much. So residents and friends, come 11 September, if you vote for our team, we will humbly serve you to the best of our ability, with our heart, with the relationship and trust that we have built up in the last 9 years. Trust us, we will do a good job. Thank you very much. Good night.